Consider This, a news and information program recorded on the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. From the Fireside Lounge in the Milo Bale Student Center, here is your host, Carol Schrader.
Hello and welcome back to the University of Nebraska, Omaha. One of the things over the years in covering the news that I've come to respect is the University of Nebraska Medical Center and, of course, the offshoot partnership as of late with the Nebraska Health System. The services, the quality of care, the quality of doctors and health professionals has grown over the years, and I've been proud to report on them. Today we're going to talk about how they're reaching out and the man who's helping them do that. My guest today on Consider This is Nizar Mamdani. He is kind of founder, creator of the International Healthcare Services at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, NHS, and he is its executive director. Welcome. I've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time.
Thank you very much for having me today.
One of the most interesting stories about this, and probably what makes it, well, there are many sort of marketing arms of big medical institutions, but one of the most interesting things, and I hate to make you tell the story again, is how you came to the University Medical Center. It's just a phenomenal story.
Well, I came here about almost 5 years ago because my wife had lymphoma, and she had had earlier treatments in Atlanta, where my home is. And after her second bout with chemotherapy,
because it can come back with a vengeance.
It did, yes. And so it was recommended to us that we look somewhere to have her get a bone marrow or stem cell transplantation. So I went with her to many different centers. We went to Mayo and Memorial Sloan Kettering and MD Anderson. And then a friend of mine recommended that I should come and visit with Dr. Armitage. So we came here, and Nancy, my wife, was very comfortable with Dr. Armitage and loved the center. So we decided to come here for her transplantation. Unfortunately for her, because of the very high dosage of chemotherapy that she had before, and especially the use of adriamycin, her heart was very weak. And when they started heavy dose chemotherapy here before the transplantation, she developed congestive heart failure. And as a result, she was in the hospital for over a year, and almost 6 months of which she was in ICU on a respirator. And so it was very difficult time for me and my family to see Nancy like that. But despite what everybody told us, that she's not going to make it and so forth, she was actually able to get off the ventilator, went through rehabilitation process, and she was discharged from the hospital. And when she got out of the hospital, I asked Dr. Armitage if we could go back to Atlanta and continue with her treatment there. But he said that she was still in a great danger and we should really stay here. Well, by that time I had been here now 18 months and was really going crazy, not doing anything every day, because the first year I really, with my family, spent most of my time in the hospital. We came in at 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night.
But then there's not as much, she certainly needs help and care, but there's not as much time that has to be spent by her side.
Exactly, yeah.
You were going nuts.
I was. So, and also, having gone through this experience and having worked in the international market for many, many years, Nancy and I talked about it. And I am, just as a background on myself, our family is in the banking business. We have banks. I head our real estate and investment division here. And so ever since we had come to America, which was 30-some years ago, all of our energies were focused on making our businesses successful and how to expand our businesses. And when you are in an environment like this, it really makes you rethink your priorities in life. And we have been very successful in our business side. So Nancy and I were talking about it, and we decided that we should do something to bring this wonderful treatment protocols that we have here, especially in the areas of cancer care and bone marrow and stem cell transplantation internationally. So I put together a program and approached Dr. Armitage and the Chancellor and the President of Nebraska Health System with the idea that, you know, I really want to take us international.
Were they surprised?
They were quite surprised because, you know, this was totally unexpected on their part. And they liked what I had to say, so I made a commitment to them that I will spend the next 5 to 6 years of my life here promoting our great center internationally.
Well, after they picked themselves up off the floor and realized they and knocked on wood. No, because I think that.
Well,
you know,
I suppose at that time they weren't quite sure what to make of it. They probably, on one hand, thought that, well, here is an emotional husband who wants to do something. Maybe he won't stick around for 7 years because it wasn't a job that I was after. I had other things, so it was sort of a mixed feeling initially.
So after they realized, through I'm sure more talk and discussion, that it was a good fit and it was a it was a wonderful gift, because we were poised. You know, looking back over the years that I've covered it, it was clear that the university was poised to take some of its stellar programs, you know, they say, don't put your light under a bushel basket.
Right,
it's not that we really had it under a bushel basket, but we didn't turn on the fluorescent so that it could be seen.
Right, especially given the fact that we really have outstanding physicians, you know, Dr. Sorrell, Dr. Armitage, Dr. Vos, Dr. Kissinger, in the cancer area. It really made every bit of sense for us to be international and help other countries or other patients with our program.
Now, sadly, your wife, it was all too much before that, and she didn't
passed
recover.
away 3 years ago, and I think that was another point in my life and in the overall picture, because many people at the Med Center thought that since after my wife died, I would perhaps pack up and leave. But
kind of wanted to distance yourself from the situation, go back home.
Exactly. But her passing away really recharged my desire to do what we were doing. And over these last 3.5 years or so, I have now traveled to, I've visited over 150 medical institutions in about 40 countries.
And that number keeps going up, because I check it on the website every year for about the last year. I've checked it, and it's there's 20 countries, 30 countries, 34 countries.
Yes. We have now formed actually collaborative partnerships with almost 50 institutions in about 30 countries, major countries in the world, and we have really formed partnerships with probably most outstanding institutions in the world, Japan, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Middle East, South America, and so forth.
You're kind of, now that you've taken your third trade mission with the governor, kind of become part. It's been a long time in coming. We've always known we wanted to market our agricultural products, and we wanted, there were just certain things we always did. Now, the services we have, specifically medical. In fact, in this whole city, we are blessed with incredible medical services with 2 universities. But we're actually looking at that and as part of the trade packet.
That's right. I think, you're absolutely right. The focus for the state of Nebraska till not so long ago was strictly on the agricultural side.
Soybeans, corn, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But in the last few years, I think that focus is also being placed in the areas of medicine, as well as in some of the biotech industries that we have in the state. And I predict that as we go forward, Nebraska will play quite an important role in both these sectors internationally. Our program that we are offering internationally is not just to bring the patients to our to our institution, which we do.
Right, absolutely, and
the-
we'll talk about some of those cases. But you're actually, in fact, an old high school classmate of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I had lunch with her after she returned from Saudi Arabia. She's with the School of Nursing. And she went over there and talked to sort of an educational counterpart there about how they can sort of, they're a very modern institution in some ways, but
Right.
curriculums haven't been changed in a while and things like that, and they advise them. So we were really reaching out. We're sending bodies over to...
Exactly. Our program has a number of dimensions.
I know, it's not,
Yeah,
you can't
it's
put it
just-
in a little,
exactly.
you know, a little pocket and say, this is what it is.
Because the patient market itself, if you look on the in the international patient market, it's a huge market.
There are a few people out there.
Right.
In a few countries.
Few countries. And you know, institutions. I mean, it's a $4-5 billion market in the States today, and institutions like Hopkins, Mayo, they have been out there for 20, 30 years, and we are newcomers. So we really want to have to work harder to portray our image in the other
See,
countries.
they're established. Their names are out there. Not
Exactly.
only are they known here and have been for some
Right.
time, but international reputation and certainly the depth of the media
Yeah.
today and who goes on TV and who,
Exactly.
you know. So you have to kind of push yourself and say, hey, we're here, let's move,
So
open it up.
we really had to create a niche for our institution. And so what we did was we created a very unique training program. The fact is that not everybody can come to the States for their treatment.
Right.
Although we did very well, you know, since I started the program here, our institution has generated millions of dollars in revenue for us here and for the state of Nebraska, because there are always other services that are provided. And my department has been extremely profitable over the last few years. But that's only one part of it. What we wanted to also do was to provide training to specialists in other countries so that a greater number of patients can be the beneficiaries of what we do here without having to come here. And that has really worked very well for us. You know, to get referrals, we need to establish comfort levels with our peers or our partners in the other institution. Printing fancy brochures, being on the web page, it's not really going to do
No,
the trick.
that's not.
They really need to know who we are, what we're doing. So through our training and education programs, what we do is we invite the specialists from our partner institutions to come here. And while they are here, you know, they oftentimes bring their patients with them. And we invite the whole team. Let's say there is an institution in Chile that wants to start a living-related kidney transplant program.
Right.
What we ask the...
Something we take for granted
Right.
in this country right now.
We invite them to come here with their whole team, the transplant surgeon, the pathologist, the radiologist, and most importantly, the allied health workers, as well as the nurses. And they often bring a patient with them. So while we are treating this patient,
They
we
can
actually
see hands-on.
train their whole team.
So you bring sort of them into the team, so
Exactly
they're
right.
actually learning hands-on together
Hands-on.
as the team they are.
That's exactly right.
How they have to be so excited.
Oh, and
When they come
it's
in.
a wonderful collaboration between the two institutions. That's the first part of it. Now, when the team goes back and they're ready to start the program in their own institution, we actually send our team from here to their center so that they can now teach them or train them in their own environment, in their own facilities, plus a greater number of specialists can now be trained in their own center. And this program has really worked very well for us. We get a lot of referrals as a result of these, and we are truly helping the patients.
And that's kind of
That's
what brought
exactly
you into this, in the whole
what
thing.
I wanted to do, yes.
Yeah, in addition to being a businessman who could think in terms of marketing and all the, all your business savvy kind of
Right.
jumped into it. But the other thing is to maximize the good that an institution, specifically this one in
Right,
your case,
right.
could do. But the interesting thing is, I bet you find out that you're not only dealing with, the doctors found out, and it was probably a culture. I don't mean culture like, oh, we're going to Chile, that's a different culture, but the medical cultures. We do things a certain way, every institution does, within a certain protocol. But in some of the countries where they have very well-educated doctors that just haven't done that, there's a certain culture within their medical, in their country, and how things are done. Was it a big jump for our doctors and nurses to pick up on that, or?
Yeah, I think we are very fortunate that a lot of our doctors and our oncologists and our transplant specialists have a very global outlook, number one.
Right, and have been around, if not
Exactly.
coming from another
Exactly.
country.
Secondly, the type of specialists that we're dealing with internationally, especially in the areas of oncology and transplantation, these doctors are very well trained. They're either trained in the U.S. or U.K.
Right.
So we really don't have many problems or issues specialist to specialist.
Right, all their basic training, so to speak,
Are pretty much
is
the same.
pretty modern.
And we do have certain seminars and briefing where we do bring in some cultural sensitivity issues. You mentioned Saudi Arabia is one area where there are vast differences in cultures.
Chasms,
Exactly.
in some respects.
So when a nurse from Saudi Arabia comes here, or when we send and we have had over a dozen nurses from the Middle Eastern countries come here for training, or when we send our people there for training, we do make sure that we are culturally, politically, and otherwise sensitive to the people that we are working with.
And sometimes it's something as simple as, years ago I did not know that Muslim men that were very, very religious did not want to be, a woman would not go up and touch it. Like if you were here, which I've had Muslim guests, I wouldn't put their mic on,
Right.
like I might. Or women, and
Yes.
if I had a woman guest, and we just take it for granted in the world of
Right,
TV, for instance,
right.
that I'll help you put your mic on. And I mean, just as
Yeah.
little things like
I
that.
think these type of situations are very, very critical in the success that we enjoy in other countries. I have had a very broad personal background in international. I was born in Tanzania, in
Right.
East Africa.
Your father's East Indian.
Right. And I was educated in Japan. I did my undergraduate and graduate work at universities in Japan, spent a lot of time in Europe, in Middle East, and in Africa, and have been here now for over 30 years. And my business has always taken me to many, many different countries. So we are very sensitive to how people react to certain
And you
things.
pick that up over the years and over your unique life.
Right.
Just kind of after a while, you look for sensitivities. You just know
Exactly.
they're there.
And the people that we send from here to these other institutions, they're very eager to learn about the cultures and the religions and the other fundamental issues that may arise from dealing with patients. And I think we're doing several things. We're actually helping patients, and we are also giving a lot of experience and enriching the lives of our professionals that participate in our programs.
Because the university itself, aside from and with NHS, is a teaching facility, I would guess that, and I'm not asking you to comment on this because I won't get you in trouble, but the medical community has been known over probably centuries that there's a certain attitude some medical professionals, particularly doctors, have. I find that less in a university setting where there is just as turned on by the proliferation of knowledge and the sort of rush that they get from giving it, and the rush that the students or any new person learning gets is secondary, but almost as important as the medical work they do. And so you tend to have people that are willing to jump in the fray and don't really worry about their own kind of personal pride, or do I look silly in this kind of thing I have to wear, over in Saudi Arabia?
Well, my experience in working with the medical institution has been really zero. This is the first institution that I worked.
So you don't have any comparison.
I don't have any, but the professionals that I work with here have been exceptional. I mean, they have been very supportive of the program. They're very happy to go to other countries to help out with our programs, and they, quite frankly, so many of them have come back and they have truly enjoyed the experience that has been offered to them by this area.
One of the things that, having lived here all my life, you've been all over, I've lived here, I've traveled, but I've lived here, is that one of the things, especially with the current world climate and wars and conflicts and regional things, that we are a little bit on the ethnocentric side. We lead very busy lives, we try to be educated, but we tend to be not as globally sort of connected as some countries. Like I think Canadians are a little more, and Europeans, we may not always agree with them, but they're more aware because they've got so many countries right around them. And this is just such an opportunity to globalize Omaha in a sense, which is, kind of in the middle, insulated.
Right. Well, one of my biggest challenges was really to promote Nebraska. Before I can even promote our med center, a lot of the people that we talk to, or when I go out and talk to, don't even know where Nebraska is. So the challenge is really out there. To promote our state, our city, and the fine services that our med center provides, and the other medical institutions in Omaha, which are wonderful also, provide to the people of Nebraska. And to take this message out, I think it's a long-term commitment that the med center has made, and I think although we have been doing this only for the past 3 or 4 years, the payoff has been phenomenal.
Exponential.
Absolutely.
We've had a number of doctors that have been internationally, they might be renowned, but I mean they have international ties and everything, and so you had something to build on, but it has grown.
Yeah, I mean, doctors like Dr. Armitage and Dr. Sorrell and Dr. Kissinger are internationally well known for what they
their
do.
research as well as their just results.
Exactly, and therefore, it makes my job a lot easier to walk into a hospital and mention these names that they are part of our institution, which makes it a lot easier.
And Nebraskans don't really realize that. We kind of have an inferiority complex, is how we're seen by the greater world anyway. Because people say, "Where are you from?" Nebraska.
Yeah.
Oh, the prairie. Oh,
I think we should be very proud of what we are doing, the services that we provide. And we are very fortunate, as you mentioned earlier, to have such fine medical institutions here. One of the other things that we have recently started is our electronic consultation.
Teleconference kind of things.
Teleconference. What we have done is we have developed a very good software that we give to our partner institutions. Using this software, our partners, specialists can upload all the images, radiology, pathology, doctor's reports, and send it to us. Our specialists then have an opportunity to look at it and get back to our partners internationally. What this does is, because as you probably know, traveling has become a major issue today. Many patients cannot come here, not because they don't want to, because they have visa issues and families can't come with them. So introducing this electronic consultation program has worked very well for us. We introduced this about 8 months ago. today, over a dozen institutions are using our electronic services. We get back to them within 72 hours with our
Your consultation,
opinions.
yeah.
And the opinion is transmitted either by email, fax, or video conferencing. So now a patient can be sitting in Malaysia or India or Chile and could be talking to Dr. Armitage face to face and expressing exactly what he or she is undergoing. And
Or the
talking,
doctors can
exactly,
consult.
right.
You know what is interesting is that having lived here a long time, I realized that the University Medical Center, because of our trying to serve our rural communities, has been working on that process for a long time. You know, just so because we have so few doctors in the rural
Right,
communities,
right.
so we've kind of had a little incubator
Right.
to kind of do that sort of thing. So it's nothing new to our doctors.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, our rural health program has been using this technology for
So the model
quite
was
a
there.
number of years. So we made some changes and took it international.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it has. I think that by the end of this year, we will probably would sign up over 30 some institutions. And this again will provide a very important service to our partners and their patients, and it will also be quite a financially rewarding area for our institution.
And we need to. We've always thought we only had so many sectors that would be viable outside of
Right.
Nebraska, and we just need to. That paradigm has just been kind of.
Cast aside.
Yes,
now,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We have about a minute, and if you, we have been running the website of your organization at UNMC NHS. If you had something that you wanted to accomplish, it's kind of fulfilling this dream that you had, where do you feel you have left to go? You know, if you could have anything you needed tomorrow or could make it happen, what would it be?
You know, this has been one of the most satisfying jobs I've ever had. I worked in many industries. I'm a banker by trade. We've been very successful in what we do, but it never provided me with the type of satisfaction I'm getting here.
So in 2 seconds, what would you do if you could do it tomorrow?
I will just continue to do what I'm doing.
I think that
because
would
it's
make
wonderful.
the
It's
university
wonderful what I'm doing.
happy. Thank you so much. Get more information on this wonderful organization at UNMC NHS by going to our website, checking out our show again. Go to unotv.unomaha.edu. You'll see the website for the Med Center and all the information you need. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Nizar Mamdani was with us, and we are most appreciative. Keep up the good work.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Carol.
one.